Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where in the world you're joining us from today. My name is Kelly Igorova. I am the Assistant Dean of Graduate Admissions here in the College of Engineering. Today's session is dedicated to the wonderful women in engineering as we celebrate National Engineers Week. We have an incredible lineup today. I will not introduce all of the panelists because I won't do them justice. These women are superstars and should be introducing themselves. I am co-hosting, co-emceeing today with Dr. Sarah Ostadabas. I get your name wrong every time. I apologize. Um, and she is an associate professor in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. And Sarah will be moderating most of today's session, but I will certainly join in as needed and facilitate some of the questions that are coming through. We will have some questions that we ask our panelists, but we also invite you all to drop questions into the chat so that we can have a discussion with you. And we want to make sure that we answer all of your questions. Being a woman in engineer is such a unique and amazing opportunity. It is a field that requires a beautiful balance of your intellect, your STEM, bringing together your math, your engineering, your physics, your science, and yet also balancing everything else that we do in our lives. Many of us are mothers. I have 5 children. I know that others on the call are as well. And so we absolutely enjoy everything that we do, every moment that we do it. And with that, I will hand it over to you, Sarah, to give the intro to all of our panelists. And we can start with Rachel. Sarah, do you
Good day, everyone. I don't know where you're. Yes, yeah. I just want to say good day, everyone. I am looking forward to hear your question during the Q&A. But without further ado, let's start the panel introduction. Rachel, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Barume. I am a fourth-year computer engineering student at Northeastern. I am in my last semester, so I'm getting ready. I'm in that last mile before I earn my degree, so I'm super excited. My experience at Northeastern has been amazing. I've done pretty much everything that Northeastern offers. I've done the co-op, I've done the study abroad, the research. I think I've really gotten that full-rounded Northeastern experience. I did 2 co-ops during my 4 years. My first one at a smaller company called Evidence Scientific, and then my second one was at Amazon Robotics as a software developer. And that really got me that hands-on learning and really shaped the way for what I think I'm going to pursue afterwards, which is software engineering, software development. I've also done research, robotics research with the River Lab, which is the Robotics Intelligence Vehicle Research Laboratory under Professor Tashkin Padir. And we are currently working on an autonomous wheelchair that is able to navigate to different locations through the path planning that we're working on. And they would be able to navigate traffic, navigate obstacles, all autonomously. And yeah, I'm super excited to hear all the questions everyone has.
Thank you, Rachel. Abby?
Hi, everyone. My name is Abby Corey, and I'm a structural engineer at Weston and Sampson, which is a civil and environmental engineering firm. We're based in Massachusetts, but have offices all up and down the East Coast, and I've been there about almost 9 years now. Been there my whole career, right from undergrad. I did my undergrad at Penn State and graduated in 2017. Then I did my master's at Northeastern, graduated in 2023. I did that as night school and also did the Gordon Engineering Leadership Program there, which was a great experience and was nice to get education in something other than the technical side of engineering and really learn how to work better with people and become a leader in the field. I also have my PE license, which I got in 2023. Doing that at the same time as my master's degree was hard. I don't recommend that. My experience is in reinforced concrete and steel design. I've done a lot of projects in the city of Boston. One of them was Boston City Hall Plaza. We designed a bridging structure underground to go over the MBTA tunnels, which are over 100 years old, and there's a new playground on top of that. And currently working on a North End redevelopment project for the community center there. Great to be here.
Thank you, Abby. Najma?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Sorry about my voice. I catch a flu. So I'm assistant professor at Northeastern University in electrical and computer engineering. I started here in 2023. Before that, I was a professor at University of Florida, and my main research is on millimeter wave 5G, 6G communication and sensing. So I got my PhD at UC University of California, San Diego, and then I moved to Michigan and Harvard to do a postdoc there. Sorry. So as I said, my main research is regarding 5G and 6G and how to make an efficient connectivity over the autonomous vehicles, autonomous robots, make everything connected. And I also serve on a technical program committee for various conferences related to my field, and also I work with DARPA and other funding agency to develop this research further. And I'm happy to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Najma. And I hope if you feel better, although we make sure that we don't put a lot of effort on your vocal cords today. But we would love to hear more from you.
No, I'm okay. Yeah, thank you.
Neha, I know that you are still driving, but go ahead if you could introduce yourself.
Yes, of course.
But be careful. Be careful.
Yeah,
be careful.
I'm in the parking garage now, so I should be fine.
Good.
My name is Neha Sardesai. I work as an education application engineer at MathWorks. So we make MATLAB and Simulink. And my background is that I have a PhD in biomedical instrumentation. I was building fluorescence-based optical sensors during my PhD, and I came to Northeastern for my postdoc. My PhD is in University of Maryland, Baltimore County. I did my postdoc at Northeastern in bioengineering in 2016, so some time back. And then I decided to move to the industry, where now I work as an edu application engineer. I'm more supposed to be broad rather than deep, but of course, I still like to pursue a few things here and there with bioengineering, when time permits, of course. But my primary job is that I work with researchers, professors, students, anyone using any form of computation in their workflow. And then I'll leverage the use of MATLAB and Simulink where it fits. So I like to think of it as shallow consulting. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Thank you. So you can start walking back maybe to your office, and hopefully we get a chance to see your face too today. And Anna?
Hi, my name is Anna Vargas. I'm currently a postdoctoral research fellow in the Department of Cardiac Surgery at Boston Children's Hospital. I actually just defended my PhD last August from Northeastern in bioengineering, where I did women's health research. So I'm not only a woman in engineering, but I also did women's health research. I looked at how pregnancy affected the cardiovascular system. And I also did my undergrad here in the US at Lehigh University in bioengineering as well. Originally, I'm an international student. I was born and raised in Honduras. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much, all of you. So one thing, if you have attended our past 2 years webinar, Women in Engineering, the webinar, we mainly focus of people from academia, the students, professor from academia. This year, we have people that they have been long in the industry or just started industry, so that we have this mix and match, and we have people from the undergrad, graduate, postdocs, and also we already have an assistant professor here, Najma. To keep it also light, this is the early morning for many of us, or late at night for some. I would like to start with a question for the group, and you can just raise your hand if you have the answer ready, and then we will go through that. For any question, we don't need everybody to answer, but if you have something to share, that would be very nice. So the first question is that you're all in engineering, coming from a different major, from biomedical engineering, electrical engineering, structural engineering, and so on and so forth. Tell me, how did you start your journey in engineering, and why did you choose that? And was there any particular phase person that actually motivated you to go this route, which we know that is not an easy one? So anyone that wants to start the conversation? And it's also going to be a very friendly conversation. Anna, go ahead.
Yeah. I feel like my path has been a little bit nonlinear. I grew up in Honduras, like I was saying, and I actually my entire life I wanted to be a doctor, so a cardiac surgery, which is crazy to think that now I work in the cardiac surgery department. Um, but yeah, I wanted to be a doctor. I applied to medical school, and in Latin America, there's not really pre-med, so it's directly to medical school. I got into a medical school in Costa Rica. But I also kept my options open and I applied to schools here in the US. And when I got accepted at Lehigh, I realized that I was excited about that opportunity a lot more than becoming a doctor. Um, so I was like, okay, I'm not 100% committed to becoming a doctor. And I know at that point, it's a lot of years to start studying medicine. So I just took the route of coming to the US and going to Lehigh. And I feel like my first year I declared pre-med. Uh, but after taking a lot of engineering classes or like math classes, I realized that not only I really enjoyed math and I really enjoyed solving problems, but I also enjoyed the research part of it as well. That's why I'm in bioengineering. Um, so I guess that switched a little bit to, oh, maybe I can go into the engineering field, always having that option open of coming back to going back to medical school. But now I'm here and I love what I do and I love being an engineer and I think I don't regret anything um, not going to medical school, specifically because I still work with doctors, just more in the problem solving and doing research and yeah, answering research questions.
Was there any prominent phase throughout that your journey in engineering school, from undergrad? You got PhD when you in the engineering. Yeah, was there anything that was making that choice easier for you?
I feel like ever since I joined like a research lab was that moment and my mentor and the PI that I was doing research under during in my undergraduate that I realized that it was something I wanted to keep doing. I was saying I think I said that it was not really nonlinear. It was not really
Yeah.
linear, it was more nonlinear. Because I feel like I was scared of going that route specifically in research and specifically doing research in engineering because we were always taught, at least in my undergrad and even in my PhD, like, oh, if like you keep doing research and if you get your PhD, it's always going to be between industry and academia, which I was kind of scared about because I feel like everything happened so fast. It was 9 years, 4 years of bachelor's, and then 5 years of my PhD, and I never had that clear answer. But then I guess like there's always more to that. I ended up being in a clinical setting, which I never thought I was going to be in. And I feel like it's a little bit different than just sticking to academia and then sticking to industry. And in engineering world where you can help doctors and help surgeons solve problems away from like being in the OR. So I guess like the people around me and the people that I talk to and like the connections that I've made have brought me here and sticking to engineering and loving what I do.
Thank you so much. It's actually great to hear that and open the conversation with the different path that you can take as an engineer. So when you are starting your undergrad, it allows you to go to different places, and then you see and you choose when it can go to the educational path, the academic path, the medicine path, and then or go to the depth of industrial work. So anybody else that want to tell us how they chose engineering and or why, what motivated them?
Sure, I can share.
Abby, go.
I actually started in architecture school at Penn State, and I always loved buildings and how infrastructure, tunnels, all that fit together in like one city. And I wanted to be an architect my whole life, but I got there and I realized I was not very into the artistic side of it, the subjective side of it, and kind of having to factor in just if someone likes it. Like I really like the technical side. I excelled at math and science. So I ended up switching into engineering and everything got a lot easier for me. But I actually also really like that engineering, like Anna was saying, it's a lot about problem solving. And now in my career, I work directly with the architects. So I'm still involved in decision making of how to lay out the building, if we're doing a building or landscape projects, and how it all fits together. And then I help them make it work. So that's something I really like about it. And also the flexibility of engineering where we can have such a big impact on overall design. I'm also really passionate about climate resilient design and sustainability and how structural engineers can have an impact in the built environment in all those different ways. So I'm glad that I kind of chose a more technical route where we can be involved in decision making all throughout the design process.
I mean, this is amazing from clinical trial, doing and working actually making building and structure. These are all engineering. So you can do any of those, and that's not a specific thing. So the engineers now they are not conducting the train anymore. I mean, they can, but it was when the name came from. And a couple of years back, I was just going to those in Colorado, the train. The very very old train, and they were telling me that I'm not engineer because I cannot run the train. But I mean, Anna is engineer, Abby is engineer, so I can call myself also engineer. So I would like to also hear from Najme, because her engineering pushed her now to do the full academic route. So you didn't just stop at PhD or postdoc. Now you are in the midst of the tenure track, which is not an easy route. Anybody has gone through that. So tell us what caused you to choose engineering and also the academic part, because you are here as a professor. And sorry, I put you on the spot. I know that your throat is
No, I'm okay.
not.
Actually, it's been like so I'm okay. So actually, the reason that I was getting interested to engineering is because I really loved math and physics back to high school. So I like did my high school, born and raised in Iran, and so over there, I mean, from middle school and higher school, there were always, I mean, Sarah knows that there were kind of school, they call it for kind of a special school that people who loves to study more, they usually go there. So I started my study over those middle school and high school that they call it for kind of smart students, but I don't think so. It's just the students that are very kind of love to study more. Over there, we started like having some special laboratory for physics and studying like physics books that usually be instructed at university level. But I mean, I got interacted with those concepts early on, and that really affect on me that I really love to learn more and more and more. So I can see from first year of high school, I know that I like electrical engineering because of all those early concepts. So therefore, I really think high school, middle school are very important to help students figure out their interest. So that's one thing I'm really interested to have more engagement with high schoolers, both through the conferences. I'm kind of serving as a technical committee or a steering committee. We try to engage more high schoolers to kind of navigate their interest. So, and regarding the academia, I think my parents were teachers, so I used to, after school every day, I teach my brothers. So we always have this teaching thing. So
you already
I
have your tenure, so we have to give you tenure. You have been long enough in academia and teaching position.
exactly.
So you
Okay,
deserve
yeah.
the several tenure already.
Yeah, so
That's that's amazing to hear that. Rachel, you are then among us, anybody here closest to the to high school part, and then also you haven't even finished your undergrad, and that's great because many of our audience they're on the younger side. They're choosing, they're the high schooler choosing to go to different major. So you tell us, yeah, what motivated you go there? Did you have any role model? Was it easy choice? Did you have options that you were contemplating? Yeah, tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, like you said, I'm not even an engineer yet. I'm close, but not yet. But I think I also really wanted to go to medical school. And when I was applying to college, when I got into Northeastern, I got in for, and I was gonna go straight pre-med and I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to work in oncology. But then I started to just like reevaluate it and I decided I think my parents wanted me to be more of a doctor than I wanted to be a doctor. So I was like, okay, let me start exploring what I do like. And I've always had a keen interest for technology. I always loved devices. And I honestly just started doing research online of like, what kind of career path matches my personality? And I landed on computer engineering. And it just came to me one day and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be a computer engineer. And I changed my major. I went with it. I didn't think I was going to make it through the 4 years, but since the day I came into Northeastern, I stuck to computer engineering and I'm getting ready to leave with a computer engineering degree. But it's been quite an interesting journey. I feel like from what I've learned from my major specifically, especially being a woman, you have to also come in with that technical side, the intelligence, the curiosity, but it's also a different level of like curiosity and also confidence that you have to be able to really stand firm behind yourself. Even in like peer settings, group work, you really have to be strong and confident within yourself to excel um, in this major, I feel like. I think Sarah's
Sarah may have
just
frozen, so
frozen.
I will take it over. I couldn't agree with you more, Rachel. I think that coming in with a confidence, and also I think that in many ways, women. Hey, Sarah, are you back? Cool. I think that Rachel, in many ways, women bring an element into the room that the men don't always think about, right? Like there's considerations in engineering that women bring in that is just different, and so it's nice to have the blend. But I think you're right. Confidence is what it is, and in some cases, it's fake it till you make it, right? When it
Yeah.
comes to that confidence.
Yeah, I think, and that's a great gateway to come to the next question that I'm asking. Now, we talk about as human, as students, brilliant student, as all of you were. You chose engineering with a different path. Nothing. I mean, Anna mentioned that very nonlinear path that you chose. The interest, the curiosity were there, but then you were navigating. Now, I would like to hear from you how does your work day look like? I know the students they have a different way. It's a it's 8 to 5? I don't know, 9 to. I never work 9 to 5, 8 to 5. I don't know what is that. But and is there any the effect of being female in your career? Um, has it affected the way that you are working, the way that you are scheduling your day? So what is going to happen? And I can start from for myself. I had to drop off my son. It was very bad snow, and I got stuck, so I had to pull over a coffee shop here. That's hence the bad connection. But I mean, this is the life that I chose, and I adore that every aspects of that. And it's good to have people like you here. When I said, okay, I may come and go, Kelly said, don't worry, Sarah. I mean, we are there. I want to hear if there are specific things that changes your 9 to 5 hours. Are they extra effort that you put that? And also give us some hint how you handle that being this brilliant, being happy, and being ready to share your experience. And I don't know anybody that wants to. I was hoping Neha, and then I know Neha is a new mom as well, so I'm sure that she's dealing with that stuff. But anyone that wants to start? Anna, Abby, Rachel, Najma, to share a little bit about your day and how you deal with everything that is on your plate?
I can start. I think really daily life depends on the deadlines for us in academic. Like if you have a deadline, things will kind of be different. And also my husband is also in academia, so we know each other's schedules. If he has a deadline, I mainly like get more responsibility for the house chores for my daughter. And if I have the deadline, he usually take the lead. So I think if you are kind of having children, uh, kind of being on the same path, the same agreement with your partner would be very important. That the support is very important. That's what I would say. Because when the deadline comes, you need a support, either your family support or your spouse support. So that's very, very important for, I think. And then once you have the support, then the schedule comes, right? And at the end, if even you don't have those support, I have a friend that she's also very successful. She has two children, and uh, she always tell me always pay for nanny, pay for everyone to help you. So basically, for me, arranging my day is first finding the support, either the nanny, school, or my husband, and based on their schedule, I plan my daily. That's all I could say.
That's actually a brilliant idea. I mean, just you go to what you could get and throw money. I mean, when it's available. I know that for many of us, maybe not that's easy to do that, but find that support and schedule around that. This is, however, this is for academia. Although I know Najma doesn't sleep more than 4 or 5 hours per night, as a matter of fact,
Yeah,
but this is
exactly.
academia is scheduling around that. I would like to hear, for example, from Abby, when the schedule is not like academia, that is, you may have to deal with the specific schedule. How do you deal with that? Tell us a little bit about your schedule, and if something throw at you, how you deal with that unexpectedly, or even the expectation. I
Sure.
would love to hear.
Okay. I think you broke up a little at the end, but I think I got most of it. So my schedule's a little different. Being in the design consultant side, we have many projects going on at once. I think I have probably around 12 on my plate right now, but maybe like 6 active projects each week. So what I do is at the beginning of the week, usually on Monday, we have a group spreadsheet and I'll go in and like fill out all my hours of estimating what I'm going to work on throughout the week, maybe like 10 hours on this project, 20 on this one, 5 on this one, and get an idea of if I'm way over 40 hours or under and I have time to help out other people. So I just like to get a grasp on kind of what I'm doing each
Right.
week. And my base hours is 40 hours, 9 to 5, but we have a lot of flexibility at my firm, which is really nice. So if I have a big deadline, like maybe I'll work 10, 12 hours a few days, and then I can leave early Friday. Or sometimes if I'm having a stressful week, I'll block out the time so that I can leave earlier, maybe like 4 p.m. and get a workout in to kind of de-stress a little bit, and then I'll do a few more hours after. So I really like to kind of block out my time, and even in my calendar, like I'll put in doing 4 hours on this project one day and then have like an hour for email time. And that's kind of how I organize everything.
Thank you, Abby. Actually, that's great, because breaking unless that you reach to a level of full management, I mean, not having a time to for making and generating stuff is hard. So you have to give yourself that. Doesn't matter you're in academia, industry, you have to give yourself that part. Unless that you go to the full management schedule, that you can have a 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour stuff. And that's great. When you are building your career, it's good to have that. And then just even telling your boss, your top manager, knowing that, that's very important. I also want to welcome Aneha. Thanks, thanks
Hi.
for joining us, and it's good to see you after a while.
Hey, yeah.
Uh,
It's no, it's yeah. So I
yeah,
think you were
no.
asking about managing time or something like that.
Exactly. So, especially as now you go that, well, how does your work look like? What's happened if you have other responsibilities, especially as a woman, and I know as a new mom. So tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that, how you
Yeah.
manage it.
So I have two kids. One's 5 and one is 1. Very active boys, and I think a lot of people have said this already, so I'm not going to repeat. But I think I live by the calendar, and having a supportive partner is super essential. Uh, Again, you there are tussles that are going to happen. You are going to want to, fight for your time with like I do this with my husband. So I always need like two, three. Luckily, we're in fields where we don't need to go in for emergencies like now. So we can always schedule stuff around, so our calendar is very, if it's not on the calendar, it's not happening, is what we say. So a part of my role also involves traveling. So like right now, I'm at Tufts University. So I work a lot with the edu sector. Luckily, I work in Massachusetts locally, but I still have to travel. So like today I couldn't drop my kids off, but then I will be picking them up. It's hard. There's always something that falls through the cracks. I'm not going to pretend like, everything is perfect and the calendar is working and I have like 15-minute blocks for my laundry and then cooking and stuff. No, it doesn't. There are days when I was like, I'm not, I need takeout today. I can't do this. I will say that 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. is sort of like a sacred time for me. So I try not to have meetings during that time, because that's when the kids are home. And I actually have had meetings with students at a post 9 p.m. I'm like either before 5 or after 9, because that's not, otherwise you can't, like, that's the sacred time you have with your kids, and you want to just put everyone, you have time to spend, there's quality time, and that, so it's also about prioritizing. I also love my job a lot, so I also tend to like, then you work, you spend a few sleepless nights getting things done when you're on a time crunch, but you make it, it's a day-to-day I also say this with the kids: if you have time to do something, just do it now, because you may schedule it for tomorrow, and someone falls sick, or someone's just throwing up, and it's just all over the place. So like, just get it done as soon as possible. I guess that's my mantra for now.
Thank you. And also, I want to hear from Anna. I mean, I'm not sure how many of you in the audience are postdoc. So being postdoc, it's a crossroad. You have to be full-time student. The expectation of all of the PhD
Sarah, you're
and
breaking.
they want you to be like a PI, be independent. Hello, can you hear me now?
We can
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So yeah, Anna, yeah, I wanted to hear from, as a postdoc, how you handle that, because I know that is a very hard, it's a very crossroad, and the people's expectation as a PhD student, as a postdoc, PI, this is going to be very different. Tell us how you do that before we go to the next round of questions. Go ahead.
I feel like as a postdoc, and it's because I do a lot of research, I feel like research is really, really flexible, which I've loved ever since I started my PhD, but it can easily become an always on thing. So I feel like ever since I graduated, speaking about my PhD, because I feel like I brought this a lot as a postdoc, the year that I've been at Boston Children's. I do value my nights a lot. I prefer waking up really, really early and doing everything in the morning. But once I get home and once I'm like it's nighttime, like I do not really like do work. And it's hard because as a woman in engineer and also as an international student, I think I always had like that imposter syndrome that we always talk about. So I just want to always be working and like always want to prove, I don't even know if my bosses, but like myself, that I deserve to be here and I deserve to have the work that I have. And yeah. So it is, it's it's been hard, but I feel like that's how I've worked, and I feel like that's how I work better. Also, I feel like my brain kind of shuts off after like 6 or 7 p.m. So it's not really smart for me to be doing work after those hours. But there's times where you have to. There's like 11-hour experiments that you have to stay in. Hopefully, I'm always with someone that's helping me out. Um, but yeah, I also kind of like balance my my work with like my lifestyle as well. I like to run a lot, and I feel like that has helped me a lot throughout this journey, like the 5 years of my PhD and now right now. Like there's days that after work I just go for a long run, which has helped also like de-stress and then come back to work. But it's an interesting area because again, it's not really a 9 to 5. I also work. I think in my lab right now, there's only two research fellows. So it's two, well, three right now, postdoctoral fellows, and everyone else is an engineer. That's actually a work, like it's actually a 9 to 5. So it's also understanding, okay, it's different than them, but
also like kind of similar in a way. So yeah, just balancing, keeping a schedule and doing what works for yourself at the end of the day. I can't compare it to the people that love to work 10 hours a day and are doing great. Just for me, that doesn't work. And I feel like I'm a lot more productive if I just stick to my schedule and I work the time where my brain is on A and also where I'm more productive. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. I mean, that's actually what I see among all of the discussion here is that plan. I mean, you plan, otherwise it's going to fail. And the schedule and use the resources that is out there. The flexibility doesn't matter. You are in academia, you're a student, postdoc, you are in industry. There are some flexibility that you can impose to your schedule. And that's a great thing. Being an engineer, we are not or doctors that we have to call it specifically. I mean, sometimes we have to put them all-nighters, but that's another privilege. Maybe our hard study provide us that little bit of flexibility, and that's great. So now I would like to this question be answered by everybody, because this is some of the stuff that last year we didn't ask, but afterward the audience were interested in. So can any of you start? I mean, Rachel, maybe you can start. What is your vision for growth? And the idea is that what is the definition of the success in your path? You are in a very end of your undergrad, so that's this growth maybe much more clear to you, or I don't know, maybe not. So tell us, what is the vision that you have for the growth and success, the metric that you are seeing? And also on top of that, I want to add this extra question on what type of resources that you see reach to that growth.
Sarah, we lost you, but I think that the other part of the question is, what kind of resources do you use in your day-to-day life that help you with that growth?
We promised. Yeah, Rachel, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. I think right now, short term wise, I would say graduating and landing a job. This job market is crazy. So getting some type of software development opportunity, I think that's what I would see as growth. And that would kind of like fully finish off my cycle of life that I have in my head, that I've completed a degree, went off, started working. And then after that, I think recently I've been like battling with the idea of like, what do I do for like a secondary degree? I think being surrounded with women like you guys really challenges me. And now, out of nowhere, I'm thinking of getting a PhD. Out of nowhere, I'm like, okay, maybe I do like research a lot. Maybe I will do a PhD. But I'm also like, okay, that is a huge commitment. So I think coming up, I'm gonna have to decide if I do want to get a PhD, what is it that I want to narrow down on? I do research right now in robotics, so I need to decide, do I want to stick with that? Do I want to pursue a PhD and commit to that for the next whatever 5, 6, 7 years? And yeah, and as far as for resources, I think right now I really lean on like the community that I've built through the university, specifically my professors. I think once I have like one good professor, I'm like locked in with them for life. Like you will always get an email from me. I know that I can always rely on them. I had Professor Asadabas for my capstone, and like I'm here on this panel because she invited me. So it's like once you really have that connection with the professors are really willing to go that extra mile for their students. So I really lean on those resources the most.
The resources, again, when you are seeking resources, especially from a person, remember it's a two-way thing. So you are providing richness to their journey as well. So when you are resources or resourcey for someone, that's a two-way thing. You never think that, okay, they are just providing you something. It's you are providing them with something as well. So that's actually a good way to go. So be mentor or mentee throughout your career, because both ways you are gaining. And do not feel bad asking for help, because the one that they're providing help is also enriching their experience. So, Neha, why don't you tell us how do you envision growth, and then the success as, after building this successful career that you have? What is next?
Oh, actually, you got me thinking. I hadn't. I'm now a principal. So, in the industry, like when you reach a particular level as an individual contributor, I've reached my maximum. I can't go beyond that anymore unless I work as an individual contributor for like 10 odd years now. Honestly, I'm quite comfortable in where I am right now for like a year or two, but I do see myself moving on to leadership. Um, Mainly because, and I hate saying this, I don't see a lot of good women leaders to look up to, at least around me. I mean, there's a lot of management. It makes me feel good to see women in leadership now, as managers, senior directors, CEOs at this point. But I don't know if I've found good leaders, enough of good leaders, on the like women to look up to. So I aspire to be that person. I'm not saying I'm going to be a great one, but I aspire to be one at that point. So that's something I definitely hope to get into. And in trying to hone those skills, I've realized like now I'm on the other side of the table. I'm a mentor now. Like I was always, I mean, I have mentors in MathWorks, in senior leadership, also women and men. But like now, students do come up to me. I mentor students on projects and and stuff. So I'm trying to hone my skill and trying to find my currently, like this is like the recent most thing I'm working on, which is finding what works for me, because I enjoy teaching. If I would be able to just teach, I would do just that. That was something and that's somewhere I will go in towards the end of my career when I'm like done and like, yeah, I'm good now. I'll probably go back into teaching, but that's something I would like to start pursuing more and practicing more. As far as resources, I said my calendar app is the biggest resource I have at this point. But also community. I feel like building the community is so important, not just from a personal front, but also professionally. Like I have a group of people on our team that it's always good to go and vent about stuff to them, talk about, like my colleague yesterday was venting to me. She works on the LATAM side of things, and we have distributors there. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and of course there was a guy who was not really everyone's been through this, right? There was a man who was like, like, what do you know? I know best. The whole spiel that everyone's heard. And so it was just nice, like, and there's no brainstorming, there's nothing you can do, but it's at least good to have a person to talk to. So just building that kind of community, I feel like the people are the resources for me, at least at this point.
Thank you. And that's I mean, we all hope to see you on the top leadership. We need examples like yourself and any of you here. That's what we need. Somebody that is very technical and go high up, and then they see the all of the details and the rigorousness of the technicality of the engineering, as well as the leadership stuff. And that's being mentor and mentee throughout is very helpful, because as a leader, you have to put yourself on both sides. So just you guys accepting to give 1 hour of your morning to us, it just shows that hopefully we are seeing that. And Najma actually nicely mentioned that even going back to the higher schooler, to even middle schooler, to help them to see the benefits that they can provide to the society. And then hopefully Naha's a co-worker wouldn't see those guys there, because the kids, doesn't matter boys or girls at this time, it's good to see that is possibility. Engineering is not a gender specific major. It doesn't matter structural engineering, biomedical engineering, computer engineering, electrical engineering. This can be for anybody and everybody. And so Abigail, you tell us how do you see the growth? What do you see in future? What we should expect or look forward to see in the news from you, or what you see the success? I mean, it doesn't need to go to the news.
Sure. I think I'm at a transitional point in my career right now where I'm going from more of a technical focus into management and leadership, which has been interesting. So like my first 7, 8 years here was a lot of building up my technical background, getting my master's degree, kind of learning more about the field. And now I have my own team. So I'm also responsible for them, and I have to focus on being a good leader and supporting them and enabling their growth at the same time as still continuing my own technical development. So that's been kind of a transition of learning to balance both a little more. And I think I want to continue to grow in the management leadership side. Um, but it's still important, I think, to maintain the technical background and still work on those skills because that helps in our decision making. And even if someone else is running the calcs for you, you still have to know what's going on in order to kind of sign off on them and make the decision. Because if something goes wrong, it's kind of on you to know what's going on and you're responsible for your team. Um, in terms of resources, I think something that's been really helpful is having a really good relationship with my supervisor, who's also been a mentor to me. And I think, especially in industry, it's good to have a mentor. It doesn't need to be your boss, but someone at the company who kind of will have your back and help you learn, and then also be that person for someone else as you continue to grow. And then also having a good support system outside of work too. I have friends from Northeastern that I did the Gordon program with, and we still bounce ideas off each other in terms of like engineering leadership and challenges we're facing. I have a good relationship with Colonel Mike Manning, who runs the Gordon program now still, which is really nice, and working with him. So I think maintaining that network outside of work is also really important.
Thank you, Abby. It is very important to remember. Sometimes we go through a phase and then we go back and say, okay, that was helpful. So that's the reason that I was asking question, because we don't know why we are going through that. And after that, we said, oh, that was very helpful. That connection, that discussion, that networking event that I did throughout that's a specific conference or in a meetup, or knowing people like that. Now everybody knows your email addresses and your faces. And that is the part that we have to keep it somewhere in our mind, and hopefully we can use that. Najme, I don't think that I asked you. Yeah, how do you see success in your path and the vision for growth? And don't tell me tenure. You are going to get tenure. I'm part of the committee.
That was a short goal. Actually, for me, so my field is on kind of, we build like chips. I don't know how many of you know chips. So chips is like the piece of electronics that you can see in lots of electronics usage these days, like in your phone. Uh, Unfortunately, in this specific field, we don't have much women. For example, last week I was at a very large conference. That's why I got the virus. So, I mean, there are like thousands of engineers around the world attending the conference, but literally, I don't think we have more than 50 or 40 women. So my goal is that how can we attract more kind of women to my field, which is really limited by the number of women engineers. That's one goal I have. So that's why I always serve on different conferences to see how can we have more and more activities. For example, we're gonna have in Boston in June International Microwave Symposium that I'm helping with a couple of other panel like this to attract more women to this research and to this area. And the other thing is that I like to have kind of more collaboration with industry, or even have kind of a startup in future to also see a startup vision or industry vision and get not just academia. So that's basically my two goals for future.
Look forward to see that you have your own startup, and yeah, we can talk about that. And thank you, Najma. I mean, I know how busy all of you are, and then just putting that effort to see that we need to have to level the field. I saw one of the question here was that how we assert ourselves is just by having ally. One of the question is having ally. The ally that have gone through the same path. You don't need to be on the top and the seniority to be able to provide opinion and feedback to a system. You have to just be there, and also having ally around, ally like a woman in engineering ally. Anna, you are a postdoc. So what do you want to do? Are you going to go back to medical school? You are in the children's hospital already. So yeah, what is the vision for growth, and what's the next step?
Yeah, that's a hard question because I feel like I just started in this position. I've been almost a year. March 3rd is actually my year as a in Boston Children's. And it's a great question because I feel like so much can change. Like I said, I used to be in the women's health area, and I feel like I was so passionate about that, and I love doing that work. So I feel in the future I would love to go back to the work, either staying at Children's and working um, more like with the mother side of stuff as opposed to the children's side of stuff. Um, as well as I mentioned another thing that I want to do in the future, but as I mentioned earlier, is I am from Honduras, so actually inspire those people in Honduras. It's such an underdeveloped country. There's, I think, from my grade, from the people that graduated with me, only 3 or 4 went into engineering, and I think only 2 of us were females. Well, one of us were females actually. So it's inspiring that, and maybe not go back, but like being an example for those people back home. And yeah, I'm a first year postdoc, so it's hard to kind of look at what's in the future for me, but definitely just keep doing women's health. And I think Rachel was saying that she is considering PhDs, and I think advice for her is choose something that you love because I feel like you're going to be there for 6 years or 5 years or 4 if you're lucky. And honestly, like I loved my research and I love my PhD and I love the people that I work with. So it definitely didn't feel like a burden. It felt it was great work and it was great research. So yeah.
Thank you. No, I didn't want to put you on the spot. I know that you just early started and it's also new environment. So take your time, enjoy the path, also the process. I mean, a lot of us, the question about the growth and the success, it wasn't about that you have to go there. It just also, it goes back, is that you are actually enjoying the route. So that the path that you're going there. So now how you are enjoying wherever you are, and then you're shining there. So enjoy the path, but I was curious myself to know where in a few years I should I should expect to see you all. I had a question here, and I know that we have only 2-3 minutes left on the. If you're undergrad, what would be the best path to go on the side? A lot of you, I'm sure that somebody that runs a lab that is very much depends on the funding. The research doesn't stop. So this is actually a good time to go, as especially undergrad, to be part of the research, because undergrad you are doing as volunteer work there. I mean, they may here and there to be part of some payment part, but you are not getting paid to do that specific research. It's a two-way again. Remember, you go there volunteer, and then you go and then you learn something, and then you provide something to the lab. So look at the different lab in your department, or in the department of the interest, then the places that you are interested. If you are in biomedical engineering and you want to do something in psychology, go look at the research that is happening in the psychology. If you are electrical engineers and you want to do robotics, or go mechanical engineering or civil engineering, I mean, just go around. And it doesn't need to even to go to do the research in the engineering. You can actually add to your engineering discipline by going outside of your discipline. Go to the lab that in nursing school at Notre Dame. Go to the law. I have actually postdocs and a student that we are working with the marketing department now, and we are bringing computer vision for marketing and how we make shorter ads, and that has been actually very interesting, because we look at the ads and see that list frame selection, exactly what we were doing that for the computer vision, we are applying for the advertisement purposes. So go out of your small little place that you are around. Just go and talk to people. Don't be shy to say, oh, you don't know anything. If the person tell you that you don't know anything, you are not ready, that's not a good person, or that's not the right person that you are talking to. But a person that allows to see the trajectory, see the end, not where we are starting. Because any of us here, I mean, a lot of us are international. So we started from zero, and now we are trying to keep that trajectory. So go to those research lab. One is me. I think Najma's door is always open. I have worked with Neha and know that how math works is just empowering people. Anna, Abby, hopefully, yeah, you are reaching to that level that you can talk. I mean, already you are talking, but also making connection. And Rachel, and you know me, we have talked about that. I love to see you in PhD, but also take your time and explore the option there. Kelly, back to you. You want to have yeah, the end goal, and tell us a little bit about the everything, how they get information, and as well as how they can get access to this recording.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you all for this wonderful discussion. We have a few, three really good questions that came through in the chat. We've got some others that I've been answering in the background, but there's a few that I want to make sure that we get to. The first is, Neha, I think you'd be a good one for this. How do you assert yourself and ensure you're taken seriously in an environment where your colleagues may have more experience than you?
This is a tough one, actually. I tend to, so you don't need to be loud, you don't need to say too much, but be succinct and be clear about what you're saying. Sometimes you may also want to follow it up in written, either an email, or as we were saying, there are going to be times when people are going to be like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. In fact, in my role, I come and talk to faculty who've been working in their research area for years. What am I going to contribute to, right? So bring your expertise to the table, but then also show that you're willing to learn. I think people are more open to talk uh, when you're willing to learn. However, the assertiveness needs to come from you. You need to be able to voice your. Unfortunately, we live in a world where y- you need to voice your opinion more in order to be heard. Unfortunately, it's never the case that the loudest person in the room is the smartest, but unfortunately the loudest person is always heard. So try and practice this. No matter how, start wherever you are, start by trying to say that I'm going to ask at least two questions in this meeting. I'm going to say at least one thing. And start off by saying, I'm not very familiar with this, but this is what I think. Like preempt it by saying that, but don't be quiet. Try to make sure that your voice is heard. I have to with this a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not just the men who say this, women also try to shut you up a lot.
Mhm.
Just get your voice heard. And if you know something, be confident about it. Like, this is your expertise. If you're an expert, like, I will not go to Sarah and be like, let me tell you about, how this works. Like, no, I'm not gonna. But if someone does that, Sarah will definitely be like, okay, you know what, dude, yeah. So just make sure that you're asserting yourself. And it's hard. I know it's very easy for me to say this, but make sure that you're loud, clear, and succinct in how you're talking.
Graceful assertiveness.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the perfect description, Kelly. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, totally. Okay, Najme, we have a student who is worried about the funding cuts and the research grants, and worried about the imposter syndrome and really getting a handle on her early career in engineering. What steps can she take to get experience in research and really grow as an engineer?
Sure, sure. Actually, there are kind of for undergraduate coming to the PhD, there are some other fellowship still available, like NSF graduate fellowship that requires to be US citizen. But don't worry, there are still some small little fellowship available that you can start. And I'm hopeful that things getting better, like as we're passing through this phase. But I think during this time we can look for a small kind of fellowship here and there, or always there's a TA-ship. So don't worry, reach out to the professors, try to get recommendation letters from them, try to do small project like a 2 months, 3 months project, get a recommendation letter and try to search for this small little funding to support you until we kind of pass through this difficult phase. So I mean, I have also PhD students, so we also search for a small little funding here and there as well. So that would be my suggestion for you guys. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And Abby, can you address the idea of the imposter syndrome and how do you overcome that?
Sure. I guess my strategy is usually to be really confident in the technical side of it and kind of really know what I'm talking about, do research beforehand. I've run into this especially on construction sites. Going out there as a young female engineer, sometimes the contractors don't want to listen to you. They don't want to hear you tell them they're not doing it correctly, but you have to because they have to follow our engineering plans. There's a reason we designed it that way. So just having like that technical backup really helps me and gives me more confidence. And then also having allies, like we talked about earlier, and other people on your team that will back you up if you need it. But yeah, just try not to be afraid. Try to kind of come in prepared. That's the best advice I have for that.
I
That's
want to
really
sorry
good.
add something for this here. So I mean, we used to have some of women events back to UC San Diego in California that we faculty, postdoc, and students have monthly events. Even that time, the professors, very well-known professors, like very famous, that what we had at UCSD, always complained about this issue. And always they said that, for example, if you have a work, people don't cite your work. If this work from female faculty, they don't cite that. They usually go and listen to the male one. So it's gonna be there, guys. I mean, I myself experienced this from like my PhD. I was the only woman between the 30 PhD students. Their postdoc, I mean, it's there. It's a factor. So what is the solution is that you should just be loud. I mean, I don't agree with Niha. I think you should be loud. So you shouldn't be kind of uh, back off. So that my technique is that, I mean, I see that sometimes they ignore me, but I don't listen to them. I just keep going, keep talking, keep sharing myself, keep fighting back until I've been heard. And then they're gonna listen, right? So, and that's what I teach my daughter as well. So I think we really need to get that motivation to just uh, just be kind of loud and fighter. And you should accept that it's there, it's a fact. And one thing, guys, I mean, when I came from Iran to US, I didn't expect that. I thought that US is different than Iran. But when I found out that it's here that as well, that you cannot, they're not gonna respect yourself as male. I had to hire a career coach that's for several dollars. And I found that even in US, like 150 years ago, women started to vote, right? So still we have this problem here. So accept this fact there's a problem and be ready to fight. I mean, that's what I think we should do and don't even ever give up. It's gonna be there and you should just fight for your goal and what you think is right.
And I think the most important of all that is that um, it's all a tribe, right? Like we're all together in this, and there's a support system, and so lean on each other, learn the best qualities of each other, which I know that we do each day, and take those into your workplace, right? And to become the best version of yourself. And when you're the best version of yourself and you're so grounded in your technical expertise, when you're grounded in your personality, then you end up shining in your workplace for sure. I know we're very over time,
Yeah.
and so I apologize to everyone. I'm going to share one last slide just so that you can see how to keep in touch with us. Um, sorry, here, let me make it bigger for you all from current slide. Okay. So are you seeing the keep in touch with us slide? Oh, good. So I do encourage you to please reach out to us if you're interested in learning a little bit more about our wonderful women ambassadors who are current engineers in your program of interest for students who are prospective students or admitted students. They would love to connect with you. You can email them. Their email address is here at the bottom. Of course, a member of the admissions team, including myself, monitor the admissions inbox. I'm happy to talk to you everything about becoming, transitioning to grad school, whether you're interested in a master's or a PhD, or if you just want to know how to be a mom and juggle 5 kids, send me an email. I'm happy to chat with you. How do you get them to hockey practice and gymnastics at the same time? I can give you the tricks. But with that being said, I want to thank our panelists today. This was a absolutely incredible session. I know we've done these a few times over the last few years. I myself have not hosted one since 2018, and so I was very, very excited and honored to be back on this panel. And thank you all for joining today. Neha, Rachel, Anna, Abby, and Najme. Sarah, thank you for hosting. And so
Absolutely.
looking forward to connecting with anyone else who's interested in speaking after the session. I did post a link to tomorrow's co-op event with our ambassadors into the chat. And so feel free to join, learn a little bit more about a co-op experience, and talk with the current student ambassadors. For those of
Thank you,
you
everyone. Yeah.
Eastern Hemisphere, good night. Those in the Western Hemisphere, a good morning. And we'll see you all soon.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.